Speaking about players that were considered as greats, Raheem Sterling has kind of gone under the radar in terms of the drop of form. It was quite astounding considering how much he's on. But recent weeks, he's looked back to his normal self. The first goal last night, textbook Sterling, that was. Brilliant finish, the composure, weaving in and out, really good, back to his old self.
He was cooking. You love to see it. It's just so great to see him finally get some form at Chelsea. And me personally, I always believed it would come. You had a lot of Chelsea fans saying to me last season, get him out of the club, he's not very good. I'm like, have you watched Premier League football in the last
over
6 to 7
100 Premier
years?
League goals?
The guy was a Premier League Player of the Year at least once, in my opinion, for Manchester City. I was delighted when we signed him. Last season, I don't think you can single out and say he was specifically bad. He was our second highest scorer last year. Not to say that he will be happy about that, but I'm just delighted. And I have to say it, I'm going to say it. The reason for it, I've got to say 2 words. Mauricio Pochettino. I think he's come in. He's restored faith in a player. He's ensured the rest of the team's fitness has gone up. Yep. He's got so much more energy around him now, so many better attacking players to kind of build off, bounce off, and he is showing why we've invested so much time and money in him. And I'm so happy for the guy. He, even before he came to Chelsea, one of my favourite players in the Premier League. Yeah. And for me, I think if we get this world-class player we've seen the last 2 games, all bets are off. Top 4, it might just be coming, because that's going to make a huge difference. And when he scored that goal yesterday, the first one, I was saying, I don't think I've seen a wide player do that at Chelsea since Eden Hazard. Genuinely. We've had so many wingers that don't have the directness, the aggression to go in and just have a go. You see him have a go, and it was just absolutely brilliant when it went in. And the second goal, if you watch his positioning closely, he was perfectly positioned from having the ball in the middle of the park, getting it out wide to Malo Gusto, who was also exceptional. He knew exactly where it was to be a poacher, put the ball in the net, and that's the player that we got. Yes, 2 assists for Malo Gusto, but Sterling is extremely exciting, and one that Chelsea fans slept on him, I have to be honest. I didn't, but some did.
Here's a question for you all, and this will probably be debated in the chat as well. Is he world class?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Straight off the bat?
Yes. Immediately.
Wow.
Yes.
One season does not shake that for me. He had too many class seasons for me to wipe that off him. And quite frankly, Chelsea were a whole sea of inconsistency and uncertainty last season anyway.
We let him down, in my opinion, last year. He didn't necessarily always have the best. Some people, and I absolutely hate it when people all say his attitude's bad because he's, looks a bit annoyed or upset. That's nonsense. I have never believed his attitude to be bad at Chelsea at any stage. And he's showing now, he's got a coach that's believed in him, said, you are playing every week. And he is showing why.
I think the 3 or 4 years at City of consistency he gave you kind of showed he was world class. I've always said, for me personally, to enter that kind of world class bracket, it's got to be kind of 3 or 4 years where you've been playing at that level. In crunch times, you've turned up. In big moments, you turn up for club and country. And he did that for England as well, let's not forget. So for me, he was definitely playing at a world class level. Last year, he dropped off, and I think that was Chelsea as a whole team had fell off. But
it was.
Now it's a case of, this is the thing about world-class players. Are you able to get back to that level?
And
I think you've seen that with some other players. Now, can we see that kind of with Sterling? I think we can, but he's got to kind of tap into that. And as Tom said, Poch has kind of got to get that out of him again as well.
Yeah, in the chat, they're saying that the majority are saying he is world-class.
Yes.
Pep proved he is world-class, say the chat. More comments saying deluded fans calling him world class, says Amar. So it definitely splits opinion, this question.
I'm not even saying it as a Chelsea fan, Amar, but if you're looking at his 4 to 5 years at City and they're telling me that he wasn't a world class winger, I just cannot disagree with that more strongly. I have to be completely honest with you. And I understand he's not universally loved as a player, but for me he's just He is an outstanding winger, and people talk about that drop off last season, and I do have a point on this actually. Raheem Sterling did win us games last season. We had a game against Leicester. We were down to 10 for 60 minutes. He scored 2 goals, won us the game. He scored a goal that got us back into a Champions League round of 16 tie against Dortmund. The guy had his moments last season. People were writing him off saying he was absolutely terrible. That's just not the case.
Yeah.
You know, for a team that came 12th, he was someone who clearly wasn't at his best, but did show us glimpses. And as I say, invest in him when he's low, and you reap the rewards.
He's been around the Liverpool first team 2011, 2012. We're talking about 11 years, 12 years of Raheem Sterling now.
Top of the Premier League.
Really unbelievable in terms of the longevity. Look at the teams he's played for as well. It's not by accident. Right, let's get back into the second half. It looks like Nottingham Forest are starting off exactly how they ended the first half.
And we also...
By the way, Varane off at half-time for Manchester United.
Lindelof's on. I think he got injured again, so that's another big miss. He gets injured quite a lot, doesn't he? It's become nature for Varane. So, I mean, I like Lindelof anyway. A lot of people don't like him. I like him. So hopefully...
Question for you, Kojo, because I've seen it across Twitter last week, or X.
It'll never be called X to me.
I don't know. Not for me. But talk about Varane potentially, if an offer were to come in from the Saudi League for Rafael Varane, what would you be saying?
It's a good question.
Personally, I wouldn't entertain it.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't entertain it because I don't know how or if we look properly to replace him. I think anyone that's looked at May Night transfer window coming since if you want to go back to 2014 and when we waited so many players who end up with Fellaini, we've just been inconsistently and quite frankly terrible in transfer windows. So if Varane was to move, I mean, we probably get a bucket load of money, which would be nice, but are we going to spend it properly? I don't think so. So I'd rather just keep him and keep it going.
Fair enough. For me, this time in the window, but it's a question that I find interesting because actually I thought about it. Thought he is probably that kind of profile they'd be looking at, and it's interesting one to hear from a United fan.
Well, to be fair, we're not the only team that Saudi teams are looking. They're looking for our players. Mo Salah as well.
Fabinho, Hendo.
Yeah, they're all gone. Salah next. Even Alisson's been linked as well.
The thing is, he personally has not been linked to anyone, but the chat on social media is that I'm talking about Alisson was linked, but again, there's no way we sell him. Yeah. And then there's just no way with 5 days before the window we sell Salah. I think as Liverpool fans, we're kind of admitting to ourselves that if it's not next year, it will be the year after that he does go to the Saudi League. I mean, he's almost, probably the most successful and biggest face in terms of Muslim players right now. Yes. He would fit straight in terms of shirt sales. There would be a Salah mania if he joined the Saudi League. I do think that, but not yet.